Have you ever tried to submit a paper after the deadline? Well, imagine doing that in politics. Recently, 5 political newcomers learned the hard way about the importance of deadlines. They lost their bid in the Electoral court to submit candidate lists after the buzzer had sounded. It's like showing up to a Real Madrid versus Manchester City match in the second half and expecting to play from the beginning. Not gonna happen, right? Now, deadlines in politics are as crucial as they are in school or at work. Picture this. You're in a race, but you've tied your shoelaces a tad too late. By the time you're ready to sprint, the others are already halfway to the finish line. It's kind of the same with politics. If you don't submit your candidate lists on time, well, you're left eating dust while the others speed ahead. So what's the lesson here? Whether it's turning in your history paper, preparing for a football match, or submitting candidate lists, timing is everything. And just like my 10th grade history teacher, the Electoral court doesn't accept late submissions either. Bummer, right? In politics, as in sports, timing is everything. Speaking of which, remember that Real Madrid and Manchester City match? Just as the whistle blew marking the end of the match, the excitement of the crowd could be felt, even through the television screens. 2 titans of the football world clashing head-to-head, each with their own strategies, and each battling against the clock. It was a spectacle to behold, but let's not stray too far from our main topic. This football match serves as a perfect metaphor for the recent political event involving 5 political newcomers. Just like in the game, the political arena also requires impeccable timing and a well-thought-out strategy. Miss the deadline to submit candidate lists, and it's game over. No extra time, no penalty shootouts, and certainly no referee to argue with. Now, imagine being these newcomers, watching the deadline pass by like a ball rolling past the goalpost. Just a few seconds late, and it's a missed opportunity that could haunt you for the rest of the season. The Electoral court doesn't give second chances, and the goalpost of politics doesn't move. In the world of politics, just as in football, there's a sense of urgency, a ticking clock. Every second counts, every decision matters, and the stakes are high. It's a thrilling game, full of unexpected turns and twists. But unlike football in politics, there's no halftime, no timeouts. It's a continuous play until the final whistle. So, in the game of politics, there might not be a referee to add on extra time. Better luck next season, folks. So, what happens when you miss the deadline? No, you don't get a failing grade, but it's pretty close. Picture this. You're a footballer, all warmed up and ready to play. The whistle blows, you tie your laces and sprint onto the field. But oh dear, the referee blows his whistle and shows you a red card. Why? Because you were late for the kickoff. Now you're benched, watching the game from the sidelines, wishing you could be part of the action. That's pretty much what our political newcomers are experiencing. Only they're not watching a thrilling football match. They're sidelined from an election, which is, well, not as thrilling, but certainly more important. Their late submission is a rookie mistake, one that can cost them more than just a game. We're talking about potential political careers put on hold, parties losing out on fresh faces and ideas, and voters losing the chance to hear new voices. Imagine being grounded for missing curfew as a teenager. Now, amplify that with the weight of a political career. It's like being grounded, but instead of missing a party, you're missing out on potentially shaping the future of a nation. And the worst part, there are no do-overs. There's no pleading with the Electoral court for a second chance. It's not like trying to convince your teacher that your dog really did eat your homework. The Electoral court doesn't buy the "my dog ate my candidate list" excuse. So remember, kids, deadlines are not just for school. They're for politics too. And just like your parents, the Electoral court doesn't accept "my dog ate my candidate list" as an excuse. Now let's wrap things up with a bit of humor, shall we? So 5 political newcomers walk into an Electoral court. They say, "We're here to submit our candidate lists." The court clerk looks at them, checks his watch, and says, "Well, you're a bit late. The deadline was last week." Now, before we get ahead of ourselves, let's not forget that we all have those days where we completely blank on a deadline. But hey, when you're vying for political power, maybe you should invest in a wall planner or, at the very least, a pop-up reminder on your phone. But here's a thought. Maybe these newcomers were just taking a leaf out of the football playbook. You know, like in the recent Real Madrid versus Manchester City match, where they waited till the last minute to score their goals. Unfortunately, for our political newcomers, politics isn't football, and late goals don't count here. So here's a bit of advice for our eager beavers. Next time, don't wait for the final whistle to make your move, because unlike football, there's no extra time in politics. And that, folks, is why you should always submit your work on time, whether it's a school assignment, a work project, or a list of political candidates. After all, you wouldn't want to end up as the punchline of a news report, would you?